Well, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I saw this movie on opening night and I had a really hard time trying to think of what is this movie. Like, I was literally trying to process this movie, trying to know if it was a shit movie or if it was a good movie, because literally I was having such a hard time trying to process this film. And I can tell you that I liked this movie, but I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, but I liked it. I I think they could have done a better job with this movie. The things I liked about it was the fact that they completely followed the real origin of the Dark Knight Returns in the comics. Like, they actually followed the true way Batman is in the comics. They really were true to that, and I love Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he brought a more real, like a more true Batman. He was more seasoned, but he was a true Batman to the way we see him in the comics. It wasn't like a spin-off Batman like Christian Bale or anything, or Michael Keaton, Tim Burton's version, Christopher Nolan's version. This felt like the real Batman that we know from the comics. And we're so used to seeing so many Batmans that we don't really know what is, you know what I mean? What to be taken literally, but he is the real comic book version. And I think out of all the suits I've seen of Batman, this one is the most true to the comics. The real Frank Miller style version. And I also really liked the way they did the Superman suit. I think it's a lot better than the way it looked in Man of Steel. I know this sounds really gay, but I actually miss the undies from the outside. Like, not having his undies on the outside. I think that's just a true, memorable, thing that he needs, because it's one of his trademarks. So, but regardless of that, I love what they've done with the suit. Now, I think the movie is beautiful. The action sequences are fantastic. But regardless of how beautiful the movie is and how good the action sequences are, you need to have a point to why you have these action sequences and why there's a point of having these moments. Now, the thing I hated about this movie was that they didn't really focus on Batman v Superman fighting. They only focused very little on that, and when it comes to that moment of what you've been waiting for, it's the most lamest excuse for why they have to fight. Like, literally, it is literally the stupidest thing for Superman to fight Batman. I just couldn't believe it. Like, Lex Luthor sets this hostage. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but someone that Superman knows has been held hostage, and he tells Superman, you have to fight Batman and beat him so you can get this hostage back. And I cannot believe that is how it occurs. This is how they start fighting. It's like, it's not because Batman, has done something to hurt Superman, or Superman hasn't done something to hurt Batman. It is completely a different cause. It's like, are you serious? And the fight scene, I can't believe it. It only lasted very small minimum. Like, this movie goes for like nearly 3 hours, and the fight scene was like 20 minutes. The rest of the movie, I'm telling you, the rest of this movie was about forming the Justice League. And everything, like, this little majority of this was 20 minutes. It was only freaking 20 minutes of a fight scene. And to be frankly honest, without this 20 minutes, this would not be Batman v Superman. I'm literally telling you, this title is so misleading. This should not be called Batman v Superman. This should be called Dawn of the Justice League. You know why? Because the majority of this movie is forming the fucking Justice League. And the thing that annoyed me most about this movie is the amount of fucking dream sequences they have. There are too many dream sequences in this movie. I could not fucking believe it. I was like, why are there so many dream sequences? And, I mean, I think Henry Cavill is a fine Superman. He doesn't beat Christopher Reeve or anything, but he's fine. The thing that bothered me really badly was not the fact that the fight scene only lasted 20 minutes, or the fact that they're forming the Justice League. I completely think Zack Snyder does a beautiful job with the directing, and I think he's very visually amazing. But he doesn't get his story across. Now, I don't fully blame him, but I blame the writers as well, because it's like they mainly were trying to pay attention to forming the Justice League, that they forgot to make a great movie. They forgot to write about Batman v Superman. This movie should just be about Batman versus Superman. This should not be about the Justice League at all. This should be its own film. It's basically a misleading title. It's just like, let's form the Justice League so we can just rush this thing out and try and catch up with Marvel. It's just how it feels to me. It's like, why? Take your time. Take your time, flesh out these characters individually. Don't just rush, 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 you know? Like, there was a scene in this movie, a laptop scene, that seemed so fucking forced. I was like, what are you doing? You know, I could not believe it. I literally cannot believe it. I was sitting there kind of enjoying it and then hating it at the same time. You know how you feel like you're watching awesomeness, but you also feel like you're watching shit at the same time. It's like shit awesomeness. Like, this movie to me is shit awesome. You know, it has its awesome moments and then it has its shit moments, and then it's shit and awesome at the same time. And I don't know what the hell they were thinking half the time this movie, but I just feel like the writers were not focusing on this movie. They were just focusing on the Justice League. And the thing that really annoyed me the most was how it just ended up, how it all ended. I was just like, what the fuck is this? What were they doing? Well, this is not what we wanted. Like, I know there are people out there that will probably like this movie, but I don't know how people will love this movie. I really don't. There are things in this movie that I don't like about Batman killing people. There is really, I get it, it's in the comics, there's a reason why he kills people, but there's no explanation of it in the movie. Regardless of what it is in the comics of why Batman kills people, there are people out there that don't read the comics, so they need to be directly known. They need to tell us in the movie why he is killing people without having any reason, because Batman does not kill people. And the other thing that annoyed me the most was Jesse Eisenberg playing fucking Lexus Luthor. I could not stand him. I literally could not believe this is the guy they got to play Lex Luthor. This guy is so over the top in all of his scenes. He's always overacting. He acts like he's got schizophrenia or he's got multiple personalities. He's like, woo, woo, woo. And he's like, the red capes are coming. The red capes are coming. I'm just like, and he's like, you know what the oldest lie in America is, Senator? I'm just like, what the fuck? Well, you read this and go, this is how I'm going to play Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, you suck. He had some good moments, but overall, I could not stand him. And if he's going to play Lex Luthor again, I hope he changes his ways as the character, because I could not fucking stand him. I think he was such a terrible choice. I actually think he ruined the movie, in my opinion. He was annoying. I could not stand him. Every time I saw him, I just said, fucking piss off. He was annoying. I could not stand him. I think Gene Hackman would be insulted to go, this is the guy that's playing the new Lex Luthor. Uh, it's just, there are so many things in this movie that is great, but shit at the same time. Like, it's a mixture of everything. It's just a mixture, and I can't even give this a score that is a good score. I can only give this a score that's in between. You know, this movie was so hard to process. It just, to me, this should not even be called Batman v Superman. It should be called Dawn of Justice League, because that is exactly what it feels like watching this. It does not feel like Superman and Batman are fighting at all. It just seems so forced. Everything in this movie is forced. I, like, it's like someone needs to sit down with DC or Zack Snyder. Someone needs to sit down with one of them and say, what are you doing to this world, to this DC world? What are you doing to these movies? I mean, I just don't know. If they're going to do a Justice League movie, I'm kind of stressing. I mean, I'm losing faith. I don't know. I don't think Zack Snyder should direct the Justice League. I think they should get someone else. I mean, I think the Wonder Woman moments were great. I think that Gal Gadot surprised the hell out of me. I was actually really surprised. I was like, this girl's going to ruin it, because I've only seen her in Fast and Furious, and I thought she was alright in that, but she didn't really have much to do in a motion of being an actress. She's actually pretty good. I was actually, oh wow, she's been taking some acting training. And I liked her, but still, at the end of the day, I feel like the Justice League and her didn't need to be there. I think they didn't need to be there, even though it was great to see her, it was great to see some moments of the Justice League, even though it felt fucking forced. I just wanted them to focus on Batman and Superman fighting each other, and having a reason why they fought, but it ended up being the most ridiculous idea of a hostage that you could use to get him to fight Batman. Even Batman didn't want to fight Superman for starters. It was all because of this hostage that Lex Luthor caught and said, hey, we're going to kill this person if you don't fight Batman. It's like, are you serious? that you could have come up with a better idea than that for Superman and Batman to fucking verse each other. Anyway, if you watch this movie, don't go in there thinking like the way Marvel. Marvel has completely fully constructed their world in such a more slower paced, grounded, smarter way and better filmmaking than what they have done with this. It just seems like they're trying to catch up with Marvel so badly. They're just trying to force everything. It's just like, don't. Take your time. Just take your time. Seriously, there's a movie that came out earlier this year called Deadpool that really doesn't set anything up in the X-Men world. It just sets on its own story, its own hero. It doesn't need to focus on anything else. Just focus on the two heroes. It's Batman and Superman. That's good enough. That is the title of this movie. Do not bring in Wonder Woman. Do not bring in the Justice League. Wait till the fucking Justice League happens. Don't do it now. Why rush it? We're going to see it anyway. Anyway, it's an okay movie. I mean, it's good, but it's not. I mean, if I had to score this out of 10, I would give it less than a 7. I mean, I would give it less than a 6.5. Overall, just thinking about it, trying to process it in my mind, I'm giving it a 6.3 out of 10. Because it's more than half good. Like, it's not like half shit. It's just, there are so many things they could have done that could have been so much better, but at the end of the day, they didn't. It just seemed like a complete waste of time. I just feel like they delayed this movie. They waited a year and said, you know what, we're going to improve it and make it better and reshoot it. I'm thinking, oh, fair enough. I mean, there was a movie that happened last year that they did a lot of reshooting and delayed it called Mad Max Fury Road. I'm thinking this could be like Mad Max Fury Road. It could be delayed for its own good and could be a better movie because of it. No, it wasn't. Well, anyway, I hope you liked this review and I hope you understood what I was trying to say. But yeah, it's a good movie, and I would recommend seeing it if you're just there to watch the action sequences and you're there to see Batman and Superman. It's pretty cool. I would say it's a good movie to watch, but it's not a great movie. It's not a movie that I would probably watch again. I would watch it again just to see if I like it more, but because I wasn't expecting this, I kind of had different expectations. So did a lot of other people. So yeah, it's okay. It's not great, but it's good. And I can tell there'll be a lot of people that will watch this regardless and go, oh, that was fucking awesome, because there are people out there that will just see it for what it is and go, yeah, it's a good time. Where there are people like me that sort of had higher expectations, like, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I hope you like this review. Please subscribe and like. Bye.